guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily live. Of course, it's Thursday Thoughts. Des here. Looking forward to answering your questions. Got quite a lot to go at today. Really looking forward to getting stuck in. Lots of great feedback. And of course, that throwback I set last week where I asked you to set me a challenge. Lots of interesting stuff come out of that. So I'll go through those. I'm going to sort of mix it up a bit today, do those at the end, just because I'd be overlapping myself and giving some of them away if I spoke about them too soon. So looking forward to letting you know what people have asked me to sort of do until the end of the year or for a period of time. So that's all interesting stuff. But as ever, I'll start by letting you know how I'm feeling, like I have been for the last few weeks. Really feel like I'm on top of things. Really lots to do, busy, pushing on, doing all the things I do all the time. Setting myself targets, getting back into my routines and habits, good ones, I hope, what I can sort of take forward and work from and try and sort of stay on this sort of everlasting cycle of trying to be that little bit better, because that's what it is, isn't it? It's something we have to keep working at, keep doing. We have ups and downs. So whilst I've been injured and frustrated with that over the last few months with my running, it feels like now I'm just starting to get back to it. Because of that, I've put on weight, I've done certain things. I'm not as fit, I'm not as well, and I just want to sort of get back to a point where I'm really pushing forward in that sense, feeling strong. There was a time earlier this year I was feeling absolutely fantastic, and I wasn't ashamed to say it. And when you feel like that, when you feel great, particularly when you've had an inconsistent few years with the activity itself, but also with my own sort of physical health, and I had an operation and I was ill and this and that. All things all of us have to deal with, but it's just been inconsistent from the years before that, and I just want to get back. I've said a lot of times through DOdaily, I've not been running long enough to feel like I've done my best. So for me personally, it's about just sort of enjoying those highs again. But I realise I have to work really hard. In the last few weeks, I've been talking about all those targets, all those things, letting people know where I feel I was going to say let myself down. Let myself down is a little bit harsh on myself, but things I've not quite done as well as I wanted, and perhaps to some degree let myself down, find excuses. But now it's time to really sort of set back in. And this week I've been back at it. One of the challenges I set myself, not giving too much away, like I say earlier in the week, was to get back to the running group and run at every running session, as well as take part in park run and various other things, and that's something I'm doing. The only one I've slightly missed out on, I've just finished a coaching session, really positive stuff there, but it was probably a bit too far for me at the moment. I've got a few plans I'll discuss a little bit later over the weekend of how I'm going to sort of approach that. But yeah, it was probably that little bit too far. So I'm still erring on the side of caution, but the runs I've done so far, whilst the area of the injury just feels a little bit weak now. It doesn't hurt, it's not particularly sore. It just kind of get this weird sort of weak sensation, which is not helping my confidence, but getting out there and coming through unscathed is, and that's what it's about. Add on top of that, sort of eating a little bit better, making an effort with my sleep, and I feel like I'm really getting there. So yeah, I'm just feeling absolutely brilliant. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Hope you're sort of doing all the things you want to do. I always get to this point and it feels like start to wind down just a little bit. Every weekend's busy, so in reality that's rubbish. But when we do things we enjoy, like we tend to do at the weekend, when we get that bit of time, or when you get that bit of time, if you work at other times, it doesn't feel like work, does it? You just want to keep pushing for it and keep doing it. And when you're in a good position, like I feel I am, that's where it takes you. Just things to push on through and keep working really hard at. So sort of without going too much into all that as well, like I say, that will come at the end. I'll jump straight into the questions today. The first question, put it up there first because it links nicely into what I said about the coaching. Dawn says, you've mentioned the coaching sessions in previous videos. After 10 months, do you feel it turned out the way you thought it would? No. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. That's the absolute honest answer. Do you know what? When I started this thing with coaching, it was to basically sort of add a little bit of accountability to myself and anybody who was interested in doing that. Do you know, I put it out there to some of the guys, and a couple sort of, without really knowing too much themselves, signed up for it, agreed to come along. We'd got the same aims to compete in the Manchester Marathon, or compete in a marathon in October. One was the London, one was Manchester, mine was Manchester too. So I just wanted to be sort of ready for that, the absolute best I could, like be the most prepared. Never really gone into a marathon. I've done 5. I've never gone into it feeling tip top. My first one, I was in great shape, the best shape I've ever been in, you know, targeting a certain time, you know, sub 4, that was always the thing. And that's why it's still always the thing. I was a little bit ill and didn't really perform on the day. Still got a decent time. It's still my PB, 4:15. But because I wanted that sub 4, you know, it's always kind of lingered. It's unfinished business almost. So that's why I started it. You know, I was thinking what I could do last New Year. You know, think how could I do something? Having done some of the training and picked up some of the skills I have through leading the running group, I thought it'd be worth putting out there. Couple of guys got involved, you know, and in the first few months we was absolutely smashing it, absolutely sort of just blitzing it, you know, really determined, really on it, really sort of fired up for it, seeing the results. You know, what I also put in with the running side of it was goals, in terms of, well, goal setting, a lot about what we're talking about now in terms of doing things on a monthly basis, whether it was not drinking or not eating meat, you know, all these things. Lost a lot of weight in January, you know, feeling real tip top. The other guys did it. And then others looking in sort of climbed on board, wanted to see what it was about for themselves. And I think it's its peak. It's dropped a little bit now. People are doing other things for their own reasons. You know, I think it's peak. We had 12 at once doing it, which is staggering, really, because I had no sort of real aspirations to sort of invite that many. It is something now I really want to take forward. The one thing it's done, whilst it's been frustrating for me, because obviously I've gone backwards because of that injury, because of not feeling fantastic, you know, not being unhealthy and not being anywhere near a Manchester Marathon. The one thing it has done, it gave me so much confidence. You know, confidence in the way I speak to people, in the way I think. My knowledge is built because I do a lot of research, you know. And sometimes, even when it comes to being firm or telling somebody they're doing it wrong, you know, it's all helping me sort of develop as a person. And this whole thing, DOdaily, speaking out, you know, coaching people and leading running groups, it's all about sort of just passing on your knowledge and experience. I listen to a guy quite often called Rob Dial. He does several podcasts a week, and he always says that if you've got experience, you've got every right to say something. So what I'm saying there is I kind of went into it feeling a little bit of a fraud. You know, am I really qualified? Am I able to do this? But the reality is I've spent a lot of time in these circles, learning, listening to other people, taking things on board. And Rob Dial says, what's a piece of paper anyway? You know, clever people go and get pieces of paper. Streetwise people, you know, just pick it up, learn it a lot quicker, learn it in a more realistic way. Anybody can pass an exam, but when it comes to dealing with people and understanding situations, not everybody can do it. And I suppose that's the way I feel about it. You know, like I said, I started out feeling a little bit sort of conscious of what I was doing, and now it's just something I want to drive forward. I want to really take it on. 10 months in, you know, people still wanting to commit to it. There's a small charge to it, you know, which again I was uncomfortable with after doing lots of free running groups, but it was to see who was ready to take that next step. And that's why it's such a small charge. It's just that small commitment, and to see you wanted to make themselves accountable, and people have done that and really, really taken so much from it. And that makes me as proud as anything. I watched the Manchester Marathon last Sunday, and lots of the guys who'd been to the coaching were taking part. And they might not understand it, but I got so much more from watching them. I've not got children myself, but I'd imagine it's like watching children sort of develop and grow into certain things. Felt absolutely amazing seeing them at great times. Kay herself took 2 hours off. Other guys ran a brilliant race, just almost out of the blue for them, and that's what it's all about. When you see people achieve like that, and you feel you've had a small part of it, it's absolutely brilliant. And I get questioned every day what my motives are, why I do this, why I do that, but the reality is I do it because I really want to sort of build relationships, work with people, do great things together, take some of that sort of enjoyment. Whilst I'm taking absolutely nothing away from the guys who've taken part and competed in these events, it's nice to share it. The reason I'm so fired up and inspired this week is because of what I saw on Sunday. I don't think I could have got that running it. I'd have got lots of achievement. I'd have felt good. I still want to work hard and get back to that point where I can receive all that sort of accomplishment. But the reality is that I saw so much. I must have, we stood on the finish line for 6 hours. Over 10,000 people must have passed me, and watching them all one by one, as many as you can at once, and seeing different faces, different approaches to it. It's all a learning curve and all something I can sort of take back into the everyday stuff. So again, it was an amazing experience, what I got so much from, and when you sort of learn that, and that you're helping people and people are grateful for it, that's an absolutely amazing feeling too. So yeah, in terms of the question, Dawn, great question. Dawn takes part in this and gets a lot from itself, but I absolutely love doing it, and it's been such a brilliant sort of success, for those taking part, of course, we've got the results, but for me, in terms of my confidence and the way I feel I can sort of keep pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I talk about it all the time, but it still doesn't make it easy, so I'll keep pushing on, and I'll keep driving that side of it and trying to make a bigger, sort of more rounded offer for even more people to get involved in. Great question. What I will say before I go any further is, if there's any comments, please drop them down below. Anything to sort of add to the questions, I'd love to sort of read them out if I can. If you've got any further questions, pop those in too. Of course, this is a two-way thing almost, although it's one way for me, but you know what I mean. So I'd love to sort of get some feedback. It's always about sort of interacting and seeing what other people think too. Question 2 from Tom. I've just touched on it there. Did you enjoy the Manchester Marathon? Absolutely. I've touched on many of the reasons there, to be honest. But watching people, seeing them succeed, it's an amazing feeling. But it was just really, really nice to be there. There was no pressure on me. Just sort of getting people around, sort of. I know Manchester a little bit. I know the Manchester Marathon because I've done it twice. So sort of saying we could go there, we could take this train, we could do that. But that's no real pressure. That's something I enjoy doing. I thrive on organisation, and sort of leading in that way. So yeah, that was nice. The frustrations had all built towards Manchester before I made that solid decision to say, I'm not doing it. And from there, I started looking forward to doing it in a different way. I did a few things in Manchester. Went to a pot run on Saturday. That's always nice to go and do. I went to a football match. And the football museum. All sort of really good things to do to sort of kill a bit of time. Helped a couple of the guys who were taking part. Probably took their mind off it. Whilst the other guys went back and set up the room we were staying in. So yeah, it was just a really, really enjoyable thing. And like I say, that sort of finish line experience, not quite finish line, but we were stood right at the end, sort of clapping people in, shouting people's names. I know how important that is. I've been trying to emphasize that to the guys so much. over the last 10 months, but even before the coaching through the running club. When you're in the final straight at a marathon, just hearing your name, it's worth 2 steps alone. And the amount of names we shouted, and people are walking past you and then they start running again. And again, you just feel that little bit of sort of reward in what you're doing, and when you can help others like that, I always say it's the easiest thing you can do to make yourself feel a bit better. Wasn't feeling bad, but what it did was just make me feel like I was doing something worthwhile. I was there with purpose. A lot of the time when you can't do these things, you kind of lose that sense of purpose and you worry about it. But I absolutely loved it, and all our friends coming back to sort of join the support crew. There was myself and another sort of from the start, because we didn't take part. But then as these guys finished, because of the stagger start, they come up and the group got bigger, and we got a bit louder and a bit more loud. It was just fantastic. It was just a brilliant experience, and something you can't plan. You don't know how it's going to turn out. Almost the amount of time we kept saying we might go soon, but we was just that engrossed in everything that was going off. We was there till almost the very last person. So yeah, I took so much from that and really, really enjoyed it. Again, thanks for the question. If you was watching the Manchester Marathon or the London Marathon, and you're taking something from it, or you were there, please let me know what your thoughts of it were too. Moving on to question 3. This is from Mark. Interesting question, this one. You're really good at hitting targets. I'd like to think so. Not all the time. What is the one thing you find difficult? Like I say, I like to think I'm really good at hitting a target. It is something I pride myself on. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. All the sort of running achievements and DOdaily itself, I put myself out there saying this is what I want to do. This is why I ask people to set me a challenge at the end. Because basically what I want to do is add that accountability. Once I say I'm going to do it, once somebody says you can't do it or you should do it, I have to do it. It's just my mentality. It's just the way I am. I'm determined. I really, really hit things hard when I do it. Last year I went 100 days without drinking, and despite the fact it's never been an issue, absolutely not. I wanted to see what that'd be like. In January, I like my meat. I like eating meat. It's something I've never not done, but I chose to try not eating meat for a whole year. I'm getting confused now. Try not eating meat for a whole month. And I didn't think I'd be able to do it, but I did do it, and it made a difference. But that's another thing. But there's lots of things that I try are not easy, and that's why I mentioned those 2 in particular. Running every day, I did that for 152 days, and I didn't really want to stop, but I had to because of injury. So these things aren't easy. And obstacles are thrown at us all the time, aren't they? Like I talk about on DOdaily, emotions and other people sort of get in the way of how we're feeling, and sometimes sort of throw us off track. Not just emotions in other people, our own feelings, circumstances, absolutely anything can stop us doing what we want to do. But the reality is you just got to give it your best shot all the time. And if you do fail, we go again. Every day I say this to someone, if it don't quite work, we go again. The one thing I really, really struggle with, I've mentioned it so much through DOdaily, is getting up early. I know so much how important it is to sort of start the day in the right frame of mind. Friday mornings, attack the day, wake up to walk. That's what it's all about. I've added the accountability of doing a DOdaily episode very early. I've added the accountability of getting out on the Robin Hood Way or getting to local parks, because I've said I'm going to do it. It means I have to do it. And every Friday I do it. I haven't got that same kind of accountability throughout the rest of the week. It's all little sort of things I tell myself I want to do. And at times I'm really, really good at it, go through periods. But not being the best sleeper, I find it really, really difficult. And it's something that's always a bit of a battle. I'd love to be that person when the alarm clock goes off at 6 a.m. or whatever time, 5, 6, 7 a.m. I jump out of bed, go out, do some activity and go for a run, go for a walk, do whatever. But because I'm a rubbish sleeper, I don't always get off particularly well. Little things wake me up. I struggle to wake. And it's really, really frustrating. But the one thing I will say with that is I just keep trying to find things to keep doing it, trying to add that accountability. Just this week, I've said to the guys who I do coaching with on Thursday night, if they can't make a Thursday night, we'll do it at 20 past 6 on a Tuesday morning, And whilst that is to help them, firstly, it's also a chance for me to sort of start putting that routine and that sort of effort in terms of getting up in a bit more regular, meaning I have to do it more days. It becomes easier to do, and that way, hopefully, I'll finally crack it. I'll get there. I'll keep pushing on with that. But that is the one thing that really, really trips me up. And of course, if I don't get up early, I feel tired for the rest of the day. My productivity is low. I'm always telling you how busy I am. And it's true. There's lots to do when you do something like to run in and do daily every day and try and get in activity and try and support others. But it's not a good start when I'm not up early. I need as much time as I can get, but I need to be fresh and ready as well. So I'll keep working at that one, and hopefully, this time, I've said it probably in the last 18 months, I've probably spoke about this at least 10 times. I'll crack it. And what I'm going to do with that is stick that in as one of my targets. I'm going to say it again, here and now, just to sort of add that accountability. I want people to question it. I want people to answer me, question me and say, why haven't you done it, or whatever, or are you still doing it? And that's the whole point of all of this. The throwback question itself is all about sort of helping people to be inspired, to understand what others are thinking, what others are doing. That's my reason for doing it. So when I sort of set last week's throwback question, set me a realistic target for the rest of 2021. I knew I was putting myself on the line. I knew I'd get some responses I didn't quite want, because that's the way some people are. But that's absolutely fine. There's no problem in that. I did it. I put it out there for people to use their own sort of imagination and pick up on things I've said and done and things that I do find difficult. Not more so than the first one. I mentioned Dawn a lot. I know her particularly well. She's actually said no takeaway coffees until the end of the year. I can't believe she's done that to me. But I'll do it. I'll absolutely do what I have to do. I'll do it. I was actually going to say I'll do it till December, but I'm actually going to do it till the end of the year because that's what she said. So it's going to be hard over the Christmas period. On a Friday morning, especially, I have to wake up to walk. The first thing I want is a Costa coffee, but I do moan sometimes. I drink too much of them. I spend too much on coffee. So there's two reasons itself, isn't it? And the fact I want to lose weight as well and I want to get fit. Milky coffees are not really the best thing, are they? And I'll probably save a lot of money. Not that that's a real issue, but that's something that's just an added bonus. It's finding the positives, isn't it? These things can be flipped into positives. The next one, there's a few of these. There's a few more than I thought. Kay said to run a sub 27 5K. This is an interesting one because earlier in the year I got down to just above 25 again. My 5K PB is 22 minutes and 16 seconds. I've not done that. I actually did that on my 37th birthday. I'm now 41. So it was a long, long time ago. So I've got a long way to get back to that. But I was really pushing on, like I mentioned at the start of the episode, early in the year, really sort of feeling strong and fit and giving it a real go. Lost a lot of weight again, feeling tip top, and I got it down to about just over 25 and 18 seconds. And recently, it's been a real battle. Just last Saturday, I ran 5K, and I always try to run 5K in less than 30 minutes. It's not essential. Unless I'm running with others or trying to pace somebody, I try and do it in under 30 minutes. It's just a little target I have of my own constantly. And it was a real battle. I was in a real mess, to be honest, And it was just one of them moments, again, I've said it in the last few weeks, but this is as bad as it's getting. So I do want to push on. It's not all about times in terms of what I do with everyone else and trying to prove anything to anyone. It's me trying to be that little bit better than I have been. I know if I'm running at that pace, I'm running a lot better. I'm a lot healthier. I'm a lot fitter. I'm probably a lot lighter as well. So that's a great challenge. Really looking forward to giving that a go. I feel I can get there. I've got that kind of speed in me, I've done it before, so I'm sure I can get there again. There's a couple of months, 2.5 months left, so I'm looking to take about 2.5 minutes off. So thanks for the challenge. I've got to do it now, though, haven't I? I'd actually like to do that at Parkrun because of the break in Parkrun, because of COVID, and all the time it was cancelled. I was looking at my Parkrun results, and I've not actually, because I was ill sort of a year before. Well, the year before Parkrun, I've not actually run that pace at Parkrun for about 3 years. So I'd love to get my Parkrun times back towards that, and again, sort of working away to that PB. That's a long way away, but I'll give it my best shot. I'm just picking up on some of the comments here. If you can crack it now when it's dark, you'll be on a winner in the summer. Absolutely. I always mention I can run a bit better. It feels a bit easier to breathe, especially when I'm carrying a few extra pounds. So yeah, definitely. And that's what we've got to use the winter for, isn't it? I get a lot of running in generally in the winter, so it's and she's also followed that up there. This is about the coffees. We can put the savings to a wedding fund. A bloody wedding. And she's having a private conversation with Dawn. That's what I thought, but they can talk about that all night. We'll get back to what we've got to talk about. Got one here from Mr. Daw. I think he's watching. From somewhere. Daw on Tour, of course, his YouTube channel is massive support to what I do. He's really helped me. I'm always talking about trying to sort of get the likes and subscribes to build the channel. Up to 159 now. Last 59 have been a lot quicker than the previous 59. So he set me a little target by the end of the year to try and get 200 subscribers. I'll do my best. You guys can definitely help that, especially you, Mr. Daw. He has me on his channel. He's got 4,000 subscribers, and I'm sure a lot of them have come directly from him. So I thank him for that. But it'd be amazing to sort of see the year out with that and then have a new target in terms of that. Again, that's not a massive thing, but it is as well, because it just shows that progress. It just shows that, this is worthwhile a little bit more. That's what it's about. It's about trying to do what you can. He's here, look, saying I'm watching. So he's in again. Once again, thanks for all that amazing support. I'll see you at the Forest match at the weekend. Here's a good one. Megan, do 5 Parkruns you haven't done before. Brilliant. Absolutely love that one. Always a fan of Parkrun tourism, and I've got a 5K time to work out as well. So different places will just mix it up a bit. Can get a bit sort of mundane and a bit too easy sometimes at the same place, that you start sort of relaxing and knowing where you can push on and do whatever you can. So just mixing the 5Ks up, different surfaces, different terrains, and then perhaps going somewhere where I know I can do a sub 27. That I love that one. That it will be a challenge as well. It sounds pretty straightforward, but with the things I've got planned in the next few weeks, it's going to be tough. But I was so pleased to get 5 5 of those in. I think there's about 10 weeks left of the year, and just my average in terms of park run, every other one I do away from Colic, so that'll be a really nice one. And problem is, I'm having to go a little bit further afield. I've done them all in Nottingham and all the surrounding areas. In fact, there's one I've got to do in Nottingham, so I'll be getting over to Woolerton as quick as I can. But yeah, really love that challenge. Well done, Megan, for that. This is Ben, a different Ben from Mr. Daw. He's obviously heard me talking about weight a lot. Do you know, I had something like this lined up as well. I actually want to lose 2 stone before the end of the year, and I think, I've not thought about it too much, but I think lose £2 on average per week between now and Christmas. I think if you extend that to the end of the year, it is about 2 stone. Yeah, just under. So I want to lose 2 stone. So thanks for the challenge, Ben. Now I've got to do it. Do you know? But I will, when I click in with this. Like I said before, I know I can do it. Do you know, the whole journey started as a weight loss mission. It's led it into all sorts of different things. Who'd have thought 5 years ago I'd been sat here talking about weight loss, talking about it on a YouTube channel, you know, having sort of coached people, ran, you know, done all these epic events, you know, so I know I can do it. And the one thing when you have done it before, it's just about finding that moment to click in and go again. So thanks for all those. You know, I've got a lot to do there, haven't I? Well, the one I am going to set myself is to get up no later than 7 o'clock every day. Because if I get up at 7 o'clock, even when I've got work, I can go for a walk, you know, and sort of attack the day in that sense. I'd love to start running again in the morning, but I'm not going to put that kind of pressure. Like I said right at the start, I'm going to sort of attend all the Do Running groups. I've got park runs to do now. Got some events planned as well around a fundraiser I'm doing here in Nottingham, where we're running on a treadmill outside the city ground, you know, sort of trying to raise money to put defibs in locally. So there'll be lots to sort of see on that. You know, it'll probably pop up over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that's my target, is 7 o'clock, get up, even if it's just a walk around the small mile loop I can do around the Trent, you know, that'll set me off in the right way, and I'll be feeling a lot better. Hopefully, I'll be getting up earlier on some days and getting a run in. But for now, my own target, as well as that 2 stone, is to get up no later than 7 and work all of those that the guys have set me. Thanks again for all that input. Absolutely brilliant. You've definitely made me accountable. Hopefully, it's give you some sort of food for thought in what you're going to do. I'm going to kick in with all these as of tomorrow. You know, I'm having a cheeky treat tonight after this. Kay's gone to pick it up. But from there, really going to sort of kick in, do my best. I've been putting the foundations in over the last couple of weeks with almost all of these, you know, trying to make good decisions, you know, and it's important, isn't it, to do that, you know. Kay's just saying there's some excellent targets, you know. Thanks for those. Dawn made a comment there. I missed that one, sorry. Was great afternoon cheering everyone on in Manchester. That's who I spent the afternoon with. But yeah, there's lots to sort of think about there, isn't there? You know, and that's all I'm trying to do, is get you guys thinking, what could you do better? What are other people sort of questioning themselves on? It's not always a bad thing to ask yourself that question. So don't beat yourself up. You know, I've got a lot to go at. You might only need 1 or 2 of them. You might not need any of them. You just might need a reminder that you're okay exactly how you are. You know, you might not need to lose weight. You might be happy with your running. You might be happy with sort of the time you get up and the routines you've got. But for me, it's a continuous thing where I have to keep working at it. Do you know, we create routine and habit overall the whole time we're here. You know, and for me, for 35 years, I probably had some bad habits and things that didn't really put me in a good position. I spoke about being ill and operations and things like that. So I know now to do some of the things I want to do, I have to do some of those. Ultimately, it balances out as a decision. I either do them or I don't get from the running what I want. And this is what I say to the guys at the coaching. You either want to run and commit yourself to that, or you don't want it bad enough. And for me, you know, I want it really bad, because I do realise I'm getting older, you know, and I'm not worried about my age, but ultimately we're all getting older, and time eventually runs out. I want to be in a position I was probably 4 years ago, where I said I was fit as I can be, you know. But I also want to develop in many other areas, keep sort of developing the way I put a message across, the coaching, you know, and learning more about my own mental health and that of those around me. I get a lot of people sort of confide in me and talk to me, which again is absolutely amazing. So it's important for me just to be a little bit out there. That's what the YouTube channel is all about. Help me do those. You know, I need all the encouragement I can get. I need support from Mr. Daw with those subscribers and all you guys watching, you know, with the likes and the shares. You know, if you've ever taken anything from it, just give it a share. You know, what harm is it going to do? You know, I'm always praising people, sharing their stuff, saying thank you, you know, and that's all it takes half the time, just to get people sort of thinking and watching on. You know, hopefully you'll look back and think, wow, he completed all those. Perhaps I need to do something. Perhaps, you know, perhaps what he is saying makes a little bit of sense, you know, and that's all I'm trying to get from it. So until next week, if you've got anything to, oh, sorry, just before I go, I've got the throwback question, and it's what one thing do you find difficult? So of all the challenges that you set yourself or the things you want to achieve from life, what is the one thing you find particularly difficult? Again, that could inspire me to think, well, this is how I could use that to get this sleeping one right. You know, please post your answers to des@dorunning.org.uk. Any questions you got about absolutely anything. We've done a lot about targets now. We've done a lot about running in previous weeks. I'm happy for you to ask me about any of those. Current affairs, what's happening at Christmas, you know, weddings even, you know, the way I'm feeling, especially the way I'm feeling when it's deep, it's generally more sort of worthwhile. People come back to me and say, you really helped. Whatever it is, I'll put myself out there to ask it. So if you can sort of get involved in that sense, that'll be absolutely brilliant. And of course, to start off, my own target there, I've got to wake up to walk. It's actually going to be a lot earlier than that when I'm getting out of bed. I've got to get all the way up to North Notts, really far up North Notts, all the way up the A60 towards Worksop, you know, getting a few more miles on the Robin Hood Way. Try and get towards the end of that, tick that one off before starting something new to keep that challenge going as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Like I say, please sort of like, share, subscribe. I'll reiterate it. I need all those subscriptions I can. I need 41, just 41. You must know somebody who could just hit that button. If you can, I'll be ever so grateful. You know, until tomorrow, I'll be reflecting on all of this and everything that's gone before, letting you know what I'm up to at the weekend, being positive about being out and about in the glorious weather. Hopefully it will be glorious. Until then, just doing it.